The Florida Gators coaching staff can officially start taking visits today for the winter to recruits before the early signing period. We're going to talk about everything that I've been able to piece together here on Locked On Gators.
You are Locked On Gators, your daily podcast on the Florida Gators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Locked On Gators, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day. We are available daily and free wherever you listen to podcasts. Happy Friday. I'm Brandon Olsen. Find me on Twitter at WNS_Brandon. Find all my written work with Whole Nine Sports, Giants Country, NFL 33. Today's episode of Locked On Gators is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 moneyline bet. That's $150 if your team wins. Visit FanDuel.com/locked-on to get started. And like I mentioned, so starting today, the coaching staff can officially take visits and in-home visits to go see these recruits and obviously try to, and these recruits, commits, targets, whatever they may be. You don't need to be committed there to get the visit. What you're going to hear today is, first off, if you're part of the Locked On Gators Insiders, the subtext group, you would have gotten this information on Wednesday, and then Thursday morning. Yesterday morning is when you would have gotten the information. Some of this is what I pieced together as fact with their itinerary, and some is me speculating. I will let you guys know when I'm speculating. We'll start with what Billy Napier is supposed to be doing this weekend. Billy Napier is going to be traveling with at least Darnell Stapleton. I know that one for a fact. It wouldn't shock me if we saw coaches like Jabbar Jalouk and Russ Callaway with him this weekend. We usually see recruits post pictures of like, oh, thanks to Coach Napier for coming to visit. I believe we saw that even with Napier's first year. I think we saw pictures with Hayden Hansen. I think there was William Piegler was there. I think Patrick Toney was there. I think Darnell Stapleton was there, and Billy Napier. Was like a bunch of coaches there. So we saw that the first year, last year, and this year as well. So Billy Napier every year during this time has traveled with a group of assistants every winter to go visit multiple commits, multiple positions. And that's why, even though it's a tight end, you got your running back coach there, an offensive line coach there, because they're all there to visit. So we saw that every time with Billy Napier. That's the plan again this year. The only coach I've confirmed is supposed to be with him is Darnell Stapleton. Okay. I know that according to On3, offensive tackle target Favor Edwin and offensive tackle commit Marcus Maskell are both expecting a visit from Billy Napier and Darnell Stapleton in Georgia. If I get my information from a source, I will tell you the source, obviously. But offensive tackle target Favor Edwin and offensive tackle commit Marcus Maskell are both expecting a visit from Billy Napier and Darnell Stapleton in Georgia. Favor Edwin is supposed to get the visit on Friday, Marcus Maskell on Saturday. I know that a lot of this is done regionally, so wouldn't shock me if we look at these pictures later on and we see running back coach Jabbar Jalouk there, and we see tight end coach Russ Callaway there. My logic behind, and this is the speculation part where I'm like, it wouldn't surprise me if that's what we saw. Running back target Jaden Ball, who is currently committed to Arkansas and Florida. Florida's targeting really two main running backs at a high school right now. Jaden Ball is one of them. Jaden Ball is, again, currently committed to Arkansas. I do believe Florida can handle that flip reasonably if they don't get the other running back that they're targeting. And tight end commit Amir Jackson. Both those guys live in Georgia. So just piecing that together, I'm like, it makes a lot of sense to see Russ Callaway there. It makes a lot of sense to see Jabbar Jalouk there. And it makes a lot of sense to go, okay, well, we're visiting offensive linemen, running backs, tight ends. Let's get those coaches there. Also with Makai Boyro, wouldn't shock me if I don't know what you would do with defensive line coach not being there. Callie James is the assistant defensive line coach. maybe with visiting Mackay Boyro this weekend. I would expect that. Again, I'm just thinking Georgia-based guys. That's who I'm expecting to see, right? I also believe that I've been told Billy Napier is expected to visit Texas. Not surprising that the head coach is going to visit the place where Xavier Filsaime is where Xavier Filsaime lives, where DJ Lagway and Xavier Filsaime just rotated my chair and hit the whole desk. Xavier Filsaime is probably the biggest visit that you have to take there because again, we all believe DJ Lagway is as locked in as you can be. Xavier Filsaime, I mean, he clearly tweeted after the Corey Raymond firing with his tiger emoji, was it? I mean, that could very easily mean that Xavier Filsaime is looking to LSU. LSU has a good track record in Texas in general, especially a defensive back. There are rumors that Corey Raymond is interested in returning to LSU. So if that's what happens as well, there's that. And I would expect when you look at Texas, there's probably a few visits to targets that aren't currently committed to Florida. Like, would that be surprising? We already know that they're visiting at least Favor Edwin, who is again not committed to Florida, but they're visiting him. Dalen Evans lives in Longview, Texas. I know Texas is huge. I don't know how far they are from each other, but if you're going to Texas, Xavier Filsaime, DJ Lagway, Dalen Evans would not shock me if those were options that you're visiting. And I mean, there's probably a few more where I don't even just know off the top of my head that they live there. But again, this is one of those times where it's going to be insane the amount of pictures you see because then you think about it and you're like, they're traveling to all of these places. Like they have to just do they fly and just sleep? Do they take turns driving and everyone else sleeps on the way? Or are they just like pounding caffeine the whole time? It's wild to see this trip, but so far that's what I can piece together for Napier. It wouldn't shock me if they were flying, if they took a little stopover when they were going from Georgia, if they went um trying to think of geographically where that would go. Would they pass over? Is that Mississippi would be over there? Yeah, Mississippi would be over there. Alabama is in that general vicinity where they'd be passing. Louisiana is also on the way there. I'm not good at geography. That's not my forte at all. But if you're going to be flying over there, little layovers real quick, pop in. Because I don't know how long these visits are going to take, but I know that they begin today, and I'm expecting them to be back late Sunday night maybe, and take all those visits this weekend and get those out the way. Would not shock me to see a ton of pictures with Billy Napier and a bunch of assistants there, and seeing all of these targets and commits. Because don't forget, even when someone's committed, you have to consistently re-recruit them. And so that's got to be fully the expectation with Billy Napier this weekend. We'll talk about a few other. We'll break it up regionally. We'll talk about that in a second. Before we get to the other areas, let me tell you guys about FanDuel because as the weather gets colder, the bet streak gets hotter, baby, and the NFL offers stay hot on FanDuel. Thursday Night Football was magnificent. I will say that, and the NBA last night. Chef's kiss. Like the overs have just been cashing because no one plays defense anymore, I guess. But right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 money line bet. Bet $5 on Michigan to beat Iowa in the Big Ten championship. Congratulations on $150 in bonus bets. It's that easy. So that's $150 in bonus bets if your team wins. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's legitimately no better time to get in on the action. Again, the NBA is riding hot right now. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon. Kick off the NFL season. Remember that FanDuel is an official partner of the NFL. Thanks again for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day. We are available daily and free wherever you listen to podcasts. I'm going to talk about Rob Sale here. I'm not going to talk with Rob Sale. He has me blocked on Twitter. I don't know why. Last year when everybody was calling for his job, I was like the one dude that's just like, no. Don't hire an OC because then you have to fire him most likely. Well, I don't know what happened there. Either way, that's neither here nor there. Rob Sale is expected to handle the DMV area, so Maryland, Virginia. I found out Rob Sale is set to visit offensive tackle commitment, offensive tackle commit Fletcher Westfall this weekend. Fletcher has a game on Saturday. I don't know if Rob Sale's visit is today or tomorrow because I don't know if it's like, oh, going to the game and then in-home visit, not having an in-home visit and just visiting him at the game, because you don't have to do in-home visits. So I don't know what the plan is with Fletcher's visit. And I do know that there's supposed to be other visits in the DMV area. I don't know who it is. Here's where we get to the speculation part. Actually, before I even talk about the speculation, I don't know if Rob Sale is going to be traveling with anybody as another assistant that's going to do things. Again, the only coaches who I know where they're going to be: Billy Napier, and even then, I don't know everywhere he's going to be. Darnell Stapleton, because he's just going to be with Billy, Rob Sale, and Billy Gonzalez. But we're going to talk about Billy Gonzalez later. So there's a ton of names out there. There's Jabbar Jaluk. If Rob Sale is traveling with somebody, I'm going to assume it's Jay Bateman. But when you look at Rob Sale also, last year, if I'm not mistaken, he took this trip by himself. I remember a picture, I believe that was just Rob Sale and Will Norman. And again, I maybe that was just Rob Sale because Will Norman at the time was in Camden, New Jersey. Rob Sale has experience coaching the Giants and all that stuff. So maybe that's where the overlap was of why Rob Sale was in the area. I don't know. But Rob Sale went to the DMV this year. That's the expectation, that he's going to be there today or this weekend. I don't know, again, exactly when he's supposed to meet with Fletcher Westfall, but I do know he's set to visit Fletcher Westfall. Now the speculation is, if Rob Sale travels with someone, I think the most likely option is linebacker coach Jay Bateman. Because when you look at the DMV area where Florida, I mean, there were a couple times, I know Amaris Williams is there. I don't even know, I know Amaris Williams' DMV is higher than North Carolina there, but I don't know what the deal is, if they're going to visit him at all, because I know weeks ago it was Amaris is most likely flipping to Ohio State. Haven't heard anything since then, so I'm not sure. Also, Josiah Davis is in Georgia, so maybe Billy Napier is going to visit him as well. But I think that if Rob Sale travels with anybody, it's going to be Jay Bateman, the linebackers coach, because we know Rob Sale's set to visit Fletcher Westfall in Virginia. Aaron Childs is in Maryland. Aaron Childs is a linebacker commitment to Florida, who was, again, I mean, a lot of people were like, oh, he's going to Michigan. He's going to Michigan, not Florida. He ended up committing to Florida, has been solid ever since. So even if Jay Bateman doesn't go, I would think Rob Sale would visit Aaron Childs. If you're going to be in the area as it is, that just seems to make sense to me that we would see that. So Aaron Childs, I'm recording this late at night. Another parlay just hit, so go visit FanDuel again. But Fletcher Westfall, offensive tackle, Virginia, going to be there. Aaron Childs, linebacker, Maryland. Offensive tackle commit, Mike Williams, also from Maryland. Makes a lot of sense that if you're going to handle the DMV area, Rob Sale can just go to multiple spots, but it also makes a lot of sense that if you're going to be traveling with someone, it should be Jay Bateman, who is the only other position that you have a player in that area. Again, if you're talking about Amaris Williams, if you're going to visit him, because again, I know it's not the specific area, but it's close enough where if you're taking those visits and you got only a few visits to take, because those are the only 3 players, there's really not many targets in that area that Florida has right now, then maybe that's where you go. Maybe you're going to be spending some time there, go to North Carolina and visit Amaris Williams if he's not, again, just fully Ohio State right now, which I don't know. To my knowledge, I counted him as gone a few weeks ago. Haven't heard an announcement since then. I don't think anything's changed. I just think he hasn't announced it yet. Maybe he's still trying to decide personally. But I mean, here's my thought process as well. He's a Gator until he's not. And there probably has to be a reason that he hasn't flipped yet. Unless he's just waiting for signing day to finalize it. But he's a Gator until he's not. Make the visit, take the visit, see if you can lock him in, see if you can get him to stay. Now looking at Billy Gonzalez, again, I don't know if Billy Gonzalez is traveling with anybody. Well, not he's traveling in air quotes because Billy Gonzalez, to my knowledge, is staying in the state of Florida. Maybe Rob Sale, when he finishes the DMV, is going to come back down to Florida because Billy Gonzalez is set to visit Jere Hawkins. I believe that visit's supposed to happen at IMG. If Billy Gonzalez is going to be at IMG anyway, I would think he would visit with Jordan Seaton. However, Rob Sale, if he can make it down, I know that Rob Sale and Jordan Seaton have a very good relationship. I know that Rob Sale is one of the reasons that Jordan Seaton is legitimately considering Florida. So depending on how the timing works out, maybe Rob Sale can be present for that meeting where it's like Billy Gonzalez and Rob Sale can go, okay, we're going to meet Jere, we're going to meet Jordan, or we're going to meet Jordan, then we're going to meet Jere, whatever the order of operations is there. But you can handle both of those visits. I also know that Billy Gonzalez is set to visit Isaiah Williams, who is, again, obviously another wide receiver. Isaiah Williams is at Carroll Day in Tampa. Billy Gonzalez staying in Florida. We've confirmed he's going to meet with Jere Hawkins. He's going to meet with Isaiah Williams. Wouldn't shock me if he went to go meet TJ Abrams, Tawaski Abrams, who's in Fort Myers. Wouldn't shock me if Billy Gonzalez was just like, okay, I'm going to spend my weekend traveling just all throughout Florida. Because in the state of Florida, which is weird, Florida started, like the University of Florida, started the 2024 class with so few in-state kids and so many out-of-state. But now in the state of Florida, you've got LJ McCray in Daytona Beach. You've got Miles Graham is in Gainesville. You've got Adarius Hayes at Largo. You've got Jere Hawkins is at IMG. TJ Abrams is at Fort Myers. Isaiah Williams is in Tampa. Kendall Jackson is in Gainesville. Both Kendall Jackson and Miles Graham go to Buell's. So you got that. Then also in the state of Florida, you've got Teddy Foster down in Sarasota. So it's a little bit farther than most of the places, and also it's important to acknowledge Teddy Foster was a two-way player for a bit. So if you're looking at where these coaches are going to be, like this is the part where I go like the Charlie Day GIF or whatever it is from I think it's Always Sunny, where he's got all the whiteboard and he's got the string connecting everything and he's like going nuts. Like I reference that a lot. I've never watched it, but I feel like that's what I'm doing right now. Like this is the most in-depth I've ever gotten myself into recruiting. And I'm thinking, again, Billy Gonzalez, I know he's set to visit Isaiah Williams and Jere Hawkins. I know Rob Sale is set to visit Fletcher Westphal. I know Billy Napier and Donnell Stapleton are set to visit Marcus Maskell and Favor Edwin in Georgia. That's where my whole speculation becomes. There's so many other players in that state, but also some of them are in relatively close cities. Why wouldn't you also take that visit? So for Billy Gonzalez, it seems he's going to be handling at least 2 of the 3 wide receiver commits. Again, those are the only 2 that I've confirmed are Isaiah Williams, Jere Hawkins. I don't know if the Isaiah Williams visit is going to be in home or anything. I'm fairly certain the Jere Hawkins visit is supposed to take place at IMG, which is again where I go, if you're going to be at IMG, why not visit someone like Jordan Seaton? Why not? If you're going to be there already, it makes a lot of sense to connect the dots there. You don't even have to travel for Miles Graham and Kendall Jackson. They're already your hometown guys in Gainesville. Miles Graham moved to Gainesville before the season, for this. And then also with Rob Sale, I know that a lot of people talk about with Fletcher Westfall, like, oh, is he going to stick? What if you fire Rob Sale, Darnell Stapleton, whatever it is? As the days go on, I'm getting increasingly less expectant of firings to happen right now along the offensive line staff, just because they are still clearly visiting these guys and trying to lock them in. As we get closer to early signing day, I'm thinking it's more likely that Rob Sale gets retained. I don't know too much about Darnell Stapleton's future. If we're just being honest, I personally love what Darnell Stapleton has done this year. But I know that Rob Sale is very close to Jordan Seaton. I know Rob Sale is close to Fletcher Westfall. I'm especially not concerned about Fletcher Westfall because his parents bought a house in Tampa to be closer. That's a hard sell for me to go, oh, he's going to decommit, right? That's a hard seller. But that's what I gathered about this weekend with recruiting. If you want to keep up, if you want to join the Locked On Gators Insider, that's where I'm mostly going to be giving more information as I get it. If you're a Locked On Gators Insider, it's 2 weeks for free and then $5 per month after that. It's also just genuinely a great way to support the show, because I know people are like, do you have merch? Do you have this? I don't. But if you want to do that, if you want to support in that way, then go do it. Thanks for, or also, by the way, if you want to support the show, also just tell a friend about it. Try that one. Thanks for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day every day. We are available daily and free wherever you listen to the podcast. We'll be back Monday at the latest, but it's very possible that there's going to be some recruiting news or portal news that is relevant for Locked On Gators. I'm Brandon Olsen. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at WNS_Brandon. Find all my written work with Whole Nine Sports, Giants Country, NFL 33, and I will see you all tomorrow.